When I first got assigned the 11:45 p.m. westbound express, I thought it was a joke. The dispatcher slid the file across the desk like it weighed more than paper should. Route 187-WAN. Temporary reassignment, he said. Eyes on the screen. Not me. I opened the folder, expecting the usual transit logs, technical diagnostics, maybe a passenger manifest. Instead, I found a single typewritten page with bold black letters at the top. Internal Memorandum. Operator Directive. Route 187-WN. Below that, 8 sentences. Each one was numbered and labeled Rule. I smiled, confused. What is this? A hazing ritual? He still didn't look up. Read them. So I did. Rule 1. Board exactly 9 passengers. Not more, not less. Count them twice. Rule 2. Do not speak to anyone after the train enters Tunnel 3. If a passenger initiates conversation, do not respond. Rule 3. If you see your reflection blink independently, avert your eyes. It lies. Rule 4. Stop the train immediately if you hear knocking from underneath. Do not check. Wait exactly 90 seconds, then resume. Rule 5. Car 4 is always empty. If it's not, log the anomaly. Do not engage. Rule 6. Channel 9 plays standard ambient static. If you hear music, switch to channel 7 and turn the volume off. Someone is trying to talk through it. Rule 7. If the train drops below 37 miles per hour between stations, maintain pace at all costs. Do not let it stop. Rule 8. If you see the conductor, you're not the conductor. I laughed, but no one else did. My dispatcher just slid a key card forward with a chipped corner. You start tonight. Wait, I said, thumbing through the rules again. What kind of express needs rules like this? It's old infrastructure, he said, finally making eye contact. Legacy systems, high altitude, remote terrain, weird comms. Just follow the rules. Legacy systems. Right. I didn't sleep that day. I told myself it was nerves about being bumped from regular service. But truthfully, it was the rules, the wording, the way they were written, like not just instructions, but warnings. At 11:10, I stood on the platform at Blairwood Terminal. Fog draped everything in pale, oily stillness. The train was already waiting. An old model, sleek and battered, brushed steel with faded insignias I didn't recognize. I stepped aboard. The interior was quiet. Too quiet. No creaks. No engine noise. Not even the mechanical purr of thermostats. Just silence, as heavy as sleep paralysis. I walked car by car, checking lights, control panels, brakes. Car 1. Seats clean, heater running. Car 2. Empty. Dimmer. Car 3. Lights buzzing faintly. Vents whistling. Car 4. Cold as a freezer. Completely empty. Door handle frosted over. I didn't linger. I approached the boarding platform again just before 11:35 with the printed passenger manifest. Just 9 names. There were already people waiting. They stood in eerie stillness, like they all arrived at once. A woman in a grey coat with a violin case. A man with cracked sunglasses, though it was full night. 2 teenagers holding hands too tight for comfort. An old man in press-perfect military uniform. Others scattered and silent, not speaking to each other. I checked every ticket, every face, then counted as instructed. 9. Counted again. 9. I waved them on. All of them moved quickly, wordlessly, disappearing into dim corridors with the soft hissing sound of coats brushing vinyl. At 11:44, the lights above the platform dimmed. Something automated. The fog pressed closer to the glass windows. My phone read 11:45. I turned the key in the ignition switch and the controls buzzed to life with green and orange indicators. The train shifted forward, gently, like it was waking from sleep. The route began as any other. Cold terrain, long curves, snow fencing flickering past. Trees clustered at the edges of the corridor. Branches coated in ice. Limbs too still for wind to be real. Radio channel 9 hissed with white noise. Warm in its meaningless babble. Inside, the passengers settled. No conversation, no coughing, no footsteps. Just the metal rhythm beneath them. At 12:06 a.m., we approached Tunnel 3. I remembered Rule 2. Do not speak to anyone after the train enters Tunnel 3. It was strange how immediate it felt, as if just remembering the rule triggered an alert in something outside. Tunnel 3 was a wide horizontal shadow, unnaturally smooth inside, carved through the mountain like a scar. As soon as we entered, I felt it. The pressure on my ears like depth. The hiss of static on Channel 9 flattened into true silence. Then something knocked on the conductor's door. 3 soft taps, measured, deliberate. I froze. The door was shut, the window opaque. No voice called out, no whistle of breath under the crack. Just silence. Another knock. I reached instinctively for the intercom control, but stopped halfway. The rule wasn't vague here. Do not respond, even if they initiate. I sat still, not blinking, not thinking, trying not to breathe too loud. 2 minutes. Then the pressure in the air changed. An audible pop in both ears, as if the tunnel had finished swallowing us and let go. And then, a whisper behind me. "You missed a passenger." My blood crashed to ice. I didn't turn. I wasn't supposed to respond. Reflection blink. Passengers initiated. Car 4 anomaly. I gripped the lever. I said, the voice breathed, "Closer now. You missed me." My hand hovered over the emergency light switch, and then the voice laughed. Dry, hollow, female, aged. "Smart boy," it hissed. This time, the presence, whatever it was, left by degrees. The temperature dropped 5 more. I checked the cameras. Every passenger sat still. No one spoke. No one moved. Except in car 4. I scanned it. The feed snapped to static, then back. Now there was a figure, sitting upright in the far seat, 4th row, left side, dressed in grey, hair like smoke. Face shimmering. I logged the anomaly into the control panel. Tag: Car 4. Rule 5. Do not engage. I locked eyes with the screen to prove I wasn't afraid. But she was already staring back. The train passed through the other side of Tunnel 3 at 12:14. A low wail sounded behind us outside the frame of physics. Nothing in the system's log. No weather events. I pressed faster on the throttle. Speed 43 miles per hour. I looked again at car 4. Empty. At 12:19 a.m., the static on Channel 9 fluttered. For a brief, flickering moment, it became something sharper, more deliberate. A chord, held and warped, like someone pressing all the wrong piano keys at once. Just sound, no words, but my fingertips tingled. Without thinking, I checked the channel number. Still 9. The train's internal clock blinked as if the seconds stuttered. Static distortion. Rule 6. If you hear music, I remembered. Switch to channel 7 and turn the volume off. The thought that someone or something was using the communication line to reach through from wherever this place really was sent ice straight down my spine. I switched to channel 7, cut the volume, and the cabin fell into thick, padded silence. The kind you only hear in dreams when you're alone in someone else's house. A house where the walls remember. I kept my eyes forward. Forward was rational. Forward was speed. Speed mattered. I flicked the display. 42 miles per hour. Solid. The wheels hummed in their practiced rhythm. The train pushed forward between lonely ridges carved by generations of weather older than language. The snow outside deepened, though it wasn't falling. It just was. Always had been. Always would be. And then I saw something ahead. A faint flicker on the front-facing camera. Then a blur. A shadow crossing the tracks maybe 50 yards ahead. Dragging behind it something long and glistening. I paused. Rewound the feed. Nothing. Empty tracks. No motion alerts. But my gut knew. I turned on the thermal overlay out of precaution. Instant red glow. Then red turned to amber. Then vanished. The system restarted itself. I tapped the monitor. "You are not the conductor." The words were not spoken aloud, but I felt them again. They echoed not in my head, but around me, as if embedded in the air itself, like a whisper inside the wires. I stood carefully and reached above the control panel, pulled down the mirror, the kind transport operators use to keep eyes on the aisle behind them. In the glass, my reflection stared back, as it should have, but its eyes blinked. Once, slowly, out of sync with my own. I dropped the mirror back into place, biting down hard so my teeth wouldn't chatter. Do not engage, Rule 3. It wasn't my reflection, and already my body felt colder. I pressed a gloved hand to the heater vent, still running warm. The thermostat gauge said 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So why did it feel like winter was inside my bones? 1,000 feet of track. 9 passengers. Tunnel 3 behind me. Distance to next station. 41 miles. 15 of those weaving through the forested base of Ridge 12. An area locals call Lark Hollow. I'd passed it once, long ago on a freight route. Radios went out there. Birds didn't fly there, even in summer. Tonight, we'd be crossing it at 12:38. 12 minutes to go. I did a sweep through the train, keeping my flashlight low and my boots quiet. Car 1. Fine. The college-age couple were asleep, blindfold masks on, earbuds in. Car 2. 1 passenger reading a leather-bound book that looked older than the train. Car 3. Empty aisle. A woman stared blankly ahead, not reacting at all as I passed. She had her hand on her chest, like she was counting her own heartbeat. Then, car 4. Door locked. Auto sealed. Code yellow, flashing on the security panel. Anomaly persisting. I glanced through the small round window. Still empty. Or so it wanted me to think. I logged the check-in and moved carefully back to my compartment, pulling the door shut behind me until it hissed and clanked into lock. Speed: 41 miles per hour. A common lull crept in. Quiet hums of machinery and motion. That's when the knocking started again. But not at the door this time. From beneath the floor, muffled, bone hollow, knock, knock, knock. Precisely spaced, it vibrated subtly through my boots. Rule 4. If you hear knocking from underneath, do not check. Stop the train. Wait 90 seconds, then move. I hesitated. A part of me wanted to speed up instead, but I remembered Rule 7. Never let the train drop below 37 without good reason. Every part of me screamed to ignore the knocking. Then it came again, closer to the center now, beneath the conductor's chair itself. A fourth knock followed, this one lighter, like something sharp raking the metal. I eased back the throttle and brought the train to a slow, precise stop. The rails groaned. The cars shifted their weight forward in protest until stillness soaked into everything. I tapped the countdown app on the dashboard. Manually input 90 seconds. The screen blinked. The display read, counter initiated 0130, and began ticking down. The lights dimmed automatically. Power conserving mode. The static from channel 7 returned faintly. Even though I had muted it, it played now barely audible, like breath against glass. Rhythmic but irregular. Wrong. 0053. The floor beneath my boots pulsed with a faint thud. Something large and so far below it felt geological. Or maybe not below at all. Another knock. This one high, sharp. From above, 0042. The silence around it wasn't comforting. It was surgical. And then, on the screen, Carrefour's feed activated on its own. It showed Seat 5C. Someone sitting there. A face. Indistinct. Swimming, like looking through cloudy water. Dressed in grey. Eyes luminescent and weeping light. Staring. Mouth moving. I couldn't hear her. Thank God I couldn't hear her. The speaker icon blinked red. Audio available. Enable. I didn't. Rules didn't mention audio. But God help me, I wanted to know what she was saying. Just before the counter hit 0, she nodded once, then vanished. 001, 000. Time to move. I restarted the train with a full systems check. Speed engaged. Technical readout, all clear. Maintenance status, nominal. I exhaled, first time in minutes, and pressed the throttle. The train rocked forward, slow and heavy, like a jaw unlocking. Speed, 20 miles per hour, 27, 32. I checked the rear cameras again. Nothing but night. Then, Car 2. Passenger missing. The man with the book. Gone. His coat still on the seat, but no body. Just faint frost on the window near him. On it, writing had appeared. I looked closer. 4 words. You stopped it wrong. Speed, 38 miles per hour. Almost back to 42. Don't look in the mirror. Don't open the door. Don't ask questions. I checked car 4 one last time, and I swear, a second figure was seated there now. Car 4 now had 2 figures seated across the aisle from each other, both motionless, both facing forward like mannequins, like wax sculptures dressed in grief. I tried not to look into their faces. The moment I squinted at the grainy screen, the resolution flicked to perfect, as if the train wanted me to see them. The second figure wore a conductor's uniform. Too crisp, too old. The patches were model era, stitched with the original line's symbolism. A winged hourglass and the word Ordo curved beneath it. His name tag read Derek. Rule 8 screamed in the back of my mind. If you see the conductor, you are not the conductor. But I was, wasn't I? I glanced at my own reflection in the dead panel window. The face looking back was mine, but drained, off color, shadows under my eyes like bruises. Then it blinked again, off sync, just once. I shoved the mirror shut, eyes forward. Speed, 41 miles per hour. Crossing Lark Hollow now. Visibility outside dropped to 0, like driving through soup made of ash. A log entry auto-triggered in the system. Entering Cold Shadow Zone 3. Advisory. Rules active. As if they hadn't always been. I almost didn't see it. The shape ahead on the tracks. A figure. Hunched. Walking directly along the rail line. Facing away. Moving against the direction of the train. It had no sense of urgency. No sound of panic. Just steady, slow steps. As if it knew exactly how much time it had left. It shouldn't be there. Pedestrian access to this line was structurally impossible. Heat sensors reported 0 signature. I leaned in. The figure slowly raised its arm and pointed upward towards something I couldn't see, like a gesture or a warning. Then it stepped cleanly aside into the snow and disappeared. That was when I started to hear humming. Not from the radio, not from the train. Inside my skull, a low, toneless hum, like pressurized steel vibrating too far for human ears. A side effect of altitude or pressure, maybe? But I didn't believe that even as I thought it. I flicked the internal cam to car 3, where the woman with her hand to her heart had sat. She wasn't there now. Just her coat and her boots, neatly placed side by side beneath the seat, like graves. I ran the footage in reverse. There was no moment where she left. She simply faded, pixel by pixel, out of view. and on the window next to her seat, fresh condensation had spelled something. 3 letters. Run. I scanned the manifest next. Her name still appeared, even though she had vanished. And the passenger in car 2, the one who'd vanished during the stop, he was listed again. His name had returned to the log. Twice. Passenger number 4, passenger number 9. Same name, different seat, seats 4B and 6A, seats that were now both occupied. Every time I checked the feed, the one in 4B blinked. The one in 6A did not. I didn't know which was real. I didn't want to know. I opened the emergency command line and typed into the logbook interface. Multiple anomalies, passenger duplication, false entries regenerating, requesting override or external verification. The system returned a single message 3 seconds later. Do not attempt to correct the counts. The route corrects for you. I sat back. A warning disguised as a phrasing. That's what these rules really were, wasn't it? Not rules for me, rules about them. The ones surrounding the train, the things riding beside it, behind it, whispering through the walls, waiting for one rule to break, one flaw, one hole in the ritual. I glanced at the rule card, now crumpled in the side terminal. It had grown damp with condensation. The ink was smudging. Of the 8 rules, the bottom line had begun unraveling. The part that read, "If you see the conductor," now read, "If you are the conductor." I turned away. The speed gauge flickered. 36 miles per hour. Adrenaline hit like a shot. The external temps were plummeting. Ice buildup was affecting the left side traction coils. I slammed throttles forward. The engine screamed, electric resistance flaring. The power feed cracked through the emergency cable assembly. Sparks lit the undercarriage somewhere between cars 2 and 3. Speed, 34 miles per hour. The lights in the cab blinked out for half a second, and when they returned, I was not alone. There was a man standing in the narrow corridor just outside the conductor's glass door. I locked eyes with him. He was me, not like a reflection, not like the thing in the mirror. This copy wore my uniform, my gloves, my haircut, everything. But his face was slack, emotionless, like a wax carving left too long beneath fluorescent light. The eyes too wide, too glossy. His fingers flexed against the glass window, not trying to open it, but measuring it. My head buzzed. Then he tilted his head slowly, just once, and smiled. Not maliciously, nothing so obvious. Just acknowledgement. Like we were finally looking at each other honestly. Then something even worse happened. He looked past me, not at me, past me, into the room I thought was empty. I felt it. Across every inch of skin, a presence behind me, thick as fog. Slowly, like a rag doll in molasses, I turned my head. There was a third me, sitting in the operator's seat across the aisle of the conductor cabin, slumped, eyelids fluttering, breathing. When did he arrive? How did I not see him? The man at the window. He nodded, then mouthed something I could not hear, but somehow I knew the meaning. Only one of us gets to leave. I didn't move. I couldn't move. Then the lights surged again. The engines caught. The glass in the window next to the doppelganger fogged violently, then cracked. The train shuddered beneath my boots and began to accelerate, quickly, straining against the rails like it knew it had almost been devoured. Speed, 37 miles per hour, 39, 41. I blinked against the overhead light bloom, and the men were gone. The cabin was empty, just me again. I wasn't relieved. Speed stabilized. External wind buffeted the right side panels. I adjusted heading, wiped the frost from the side monitor, and focused on the track ahead. 3 miles to Skarbin Station. God help anyone waiting there. Skarbin Station emerged like a bruise in the dark. One flickering floodlight. A platform built of cracked cement and warped boards. An old vending machine hummed in the corner, empty glass buzzing with ghost light. We were approaching fast. I pulled the throttle slow, careful not to jerk or stall, not after what had just happened. Speed, 41.9, 40.3, 38. We coasted in smooth. There were no passengers waiting, not that I expected any. Not at this hour, not at this station. The door opened on cue, no one exited. Out of superstition, or maybe survival, I counted again. The manifest still listed 9 people, but only 6 remained visible in the seats. 1 in car 1, both students gone. 2 in car 2, book and whisperer. 3 in car 3. One new face I hadn't seen board. Where were the others? I could have searched the train, but my gut told me not to. Certain disappearances aren't accidents. Some are offers, warnings, costs due, part of the fare. The doors closed again. The chimes sounded, but off-key, like a bell rung underwater. We departed Skarbin in silence. The monitors blinked. Fresh static whispered in the control system logs. A new message appeared. Thank you for following procedure. 12 left, 8 remain. My breath caught. 12? There were never 12. Were there? I tried to recall every face, every ticket. Rule 1. Count them twice. I did. I'm sure of it. I'm mostly sure. Ahead, the route curved toward the final leg, a 5-mile straight heading into the morning ridge. The first tech station sits there, where the crew offloads and new conductors begin the shift. That would have been my stop, once. Before the rules, before the night began. The sky lightened slightly outside, not dawn, but something thinner than midnight. And then, again, on Channel 7, a signal. Just loud enough to hear, even with volume zeroed. Breathing, not like lungs, not mammalian, like wind from an empty corridor, like air pulled through stone that was never meant to breathe. Then static unlocked, and a voice came through, broken, familiar, mine. If you're hearing this, you already failed one of the rules. You just don't know which one. I lunged toward the comms to cut the feed, but you'll keep coming back. They all do. A pause. She's waiting in car 4. She always is. And you keep looking. A final whisper, almost a laugh. That's how they learn, through you. Click. Dead air. Ahead, the platform emerged through the grey. Steel, lamps, the red glow of terminal screens blinking like eyes at half-mast. I slowed the train, stopped. The station was empty. No one to relieve me. I checked my shift schedule, and there it was, in bold. Assigned shift, 11:45 p.m., recurring nightly, route 187-Vienna N. Status, active until further notice. Under that, role, conductor. The page glitched, then updated. Role, passenger, and beneath it, the last edition. Welcome aboard. I turned to the reflection in the window just as it blinked, separately, one last time, and smiled.